Hari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Giridhari Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jayo Giri Govardhan Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. So we are reading from Canto 4, chapter 7, verse number 56. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hridiyantato hi abhadrani vidhunoti sruhit satam Nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shlokir bhakti bhavati naishtiki. So we can start singing this verse for 756. Rudram cha svena bhagena hi upadhavat samahitah karmanudavasanena somapan itiranapi udavasya sahartvik sasnavavabhritam tatah. Rudram cha svena bhagena hi upadhavat samahitah karmanudavasanena somapan itiranapi udavasya sahartvik sasnavavabhritam tatah. Rudram cha svena bhagena hi upadhavat samahitah karmanodavasanena somapanitiranaphi udavasya sahartvik sasnavavabhritam tatah. Is there anyone who would like to read the verse? Okay, then we can go to synonyms, translation, and
Yeah, I'll try.
Oh yes, Prabhu, please.
Rudram cha sevena bhagena hai upasavat samhita karma nodhayasa nena sampan itara api udavasya sahas vigahi sasnav avartatam tata. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Can I try?
Yes,
Please.
Mataji.
Rudram cha sena bhagena hi upodhavat samahita karmano daboshanena samapano itaranopi udabhasya saharatvikbihi sasnav abhavritam tata.
Thank you. Very beautiful. Anybody else who would like to try?
Can I try, Mataji?
Ji, Prabhu, Mataji.
Rudram cha sena bhagena ki upadhayata samahita karmonudavasanena somapana itaranapi udavasya sahartigvi sasnavavabhritam tatah.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, synonyms. Does anyone want to read the synonyms, translation and purport? Synonyms, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yes, I can try.
Yes, Mataji.
Rudram, Lord Shiva, Cha, and Sena with his own Bhageno share. He, since Upadhavat, he worshipped. Samahitaha, with concentrated mind. Karmano, by the performance. Uddhava Sena, Uddhava Sanena, by the act of finishing. Sumapan, demigods. Itaran, other, api, even. Udavhasya, after finishing. Saha, along with. Ratvig, Vihi, with the priests. Sasnau, bathed. Abhavritam, the Abhavrita bath. Tataha, then. With all respect, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with his share of the remnants of the yagna. After finishing the ritualistic sacrificial activities, he satisfied all the other demigods and the other people assembled there. Then, after finishing all these duties with the priests, he took a bath and was fully satisfied. Lord Rudra Shiva was properly worshipped with his share of the remnants of the yagna. Yagna is Vishnu, and whatever prasada is offered to Vishnu is offered to everyone, even to Lord Shiva. Sridhara Swami also comments in this connection, Sena Bhageno, the remnants of the yagna are offered to all the demigods and others.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Veer Krishnadas Goswaminiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I'd like to thank all the Vaishnavas present here. Thank you, Nandavraj Prabhuji, and thank you all the Vaishnavas who are blessing me through this medium so that today I can purify a little bit of myself by reciting this verse and translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. So this verse is really, really short, but it has a lot of in-depth meanings. Each word is really important, and each word holds a lot of deeper meanings. So we'll just quickly read the translation one more time. With all respects, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with his share of the remnants of the yagna. After finishing the ritualistic sacrificial activities, he satisfied all the other demigods and other people assembled there. Then, after finishing all these duties with the priests, he took bath and was fully satisfied. So today, we can highlight some of the important points from the verse here. Daksha worshipped. So Srila Prabhupada really nicely highlights this, that what is the difference between worshipping and what is the difference between serving. So worshipping and serving, they're two different words. Worshipping means we have a motive. So we worship the demigods. Srila Prabhupada in one of his lectures mentions that worship is with a motive. Service is without motive. So if we actually go back to verse number, Canto 1, chapter 2, verse number 6, it says, Savai pumsa parodharmo yato bhakti tadokshaje ahai tuki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. How can we be satisfied? How can we be satisfied? By serving Krishna. How to do that? Apratihata, ahaituki and apratihata. These two words tell us that we should have no motive. It should be uninterrupted. It should be
Unmotivated.
without motive. So Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva. So we very well clearly understand that worship is happening here because the yajna needs to be finished. It has to be nicely performed. So Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva. Had he just understood that Lord Shiva is Param Vaishnav, he's very exalted devotee, there would not have been any obstacle. There wouldn't have been any situation where he would have had lost his head. So with all respect, now he has come back to his senses and he's saying, with all respect, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with his share of remnants of the yajna. So Daksha here was involved in mana. He wanted respect. But how can we continuously chant the holy names? By amanina manadena. So trinadapi sunichena taroreva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. So Lord Vishnu's intervention was not there before, and because Lord Vishnu's intervention was not there, everything was all hodgepodge and things, because of Daksha's envy, everything was an obstacle. So what happened in the past, we all know about it in the previous verses of the chapters before. So with all respect, for Daksha in the previous chapters was very, very difficult. In the previous line of the story, it was very difficult for him to respect Lord Shiva. Why? Because of his demanding man from Lord Shiva, where Lord Shiva, there was no intentional disrespect given to Daksha by Lord Shiva, because he was anyways busy in his meditation. So Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva. Here we do see that Daksha, being involved in Manadena, was not able to advance at all. He wasn't able to understand what was happening, wasn't able to understand that he's committing a mistake. Then Srila Prabhupada also mentions here that how important it is not to offend the Vaishnavas. He disrespected Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, even though he did not take the offense, but Lord Vishnu takes the offense. So the moment we offend Vaishnavas, our degradation begins. The very interesting example we can see in Srimad Bhagavatam is also of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. How Ambarish Maharaj is an exalted Vaishnava, and what happened when Durvasa Muni actually offended him. Lord Vishnu does not really appreciate this when his devotees are being disturbed or devotees are being disrespected. He is not interested in that share at all. He's not interested in that worship. He's not interested in that worship or serving where his devotees are disrespected. So with all respect, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with a share of remnants of the yajna. Now, yajna, Bhoktaram, yajna tapasam. So who is the original for whom all the original yagnas are done?
Lord Krishna.
For Lord Krishna. So in that case, when he is satisfied, all his devotees are satisfied as well. So a couple of things that we have discussed and we are going to discuss further is disrespect of Vaishnavas makes Lord Shiva angry. He's not happy. He's displeased. We can't say the word angry, but he's displeased. He doesn't really accept the. But here, Lord Shiva is given his share of remnants. Now, we can understand one point from, we do know that demigod in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that he arranged everything in the material world and the yagna performances were to be done. So with this, the demigods, the position of demigods, we can understand. What is the position of demigods? Like in a government organization, we have
They are the departmental head.
Yes, they are the departmental head. So, for example, electricity department, we're not going to take electricity department as the government. They are part of government. So similarly, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they are not ultimate lords. They are the departments. Even though they are guna avatars, but at the same time, they are like milk and yogurt, as we understand from the information that Krishna is milk and Lord Shiva is milk turned to yogurt. So occurred. So in that case, milk, of course, curd can't go back to milk. It's not like curd can be turned into milk. So definitely they are worth respecting. We can't really disrespect them and start. Most of the devotees, all of us need to understand that Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma have their positions and we can't just bypass them and straight go to Lord Krishna by disrespecting them. It is not possible. So after finishing the ritualistic activities, when we talk about ritualistic activities, this is the shastric and the injunctions. It doesn't mean the rituals without heart. It means ritualistic sacrificial activities means there are certain shastric injunctions which the Lord and his devotees keep spreading. So, but the problem here is most of us don't follow these sacrificial activities. Like right now, it very well matches with our situation, the modern day situation. The spread of COVID, the multiple wars, the degradation in society. Why is this happening? Because the sacrificial activities are not taking place. Why? Because we're not listening to the Lord, neither we are listening to the devotees. So for that, they remain unfinished. They remain incomplete. And whatever little knowledge we have, we are trying and do it with our own whimsical ideas. So in that case, therefore we are not satisfied. And therefore we are also not able to satisfy the demigods. And we're not able to satisfy Lord Krishna. So he satisfied all the other demigods and other people assembled there. Then after finishing all these duties with the priests, which means how he started serving all the demigods, how he served them, or how he served all the demigods, we can see that from the point of view where Daksha happened to serve the devotees of the Lord. So first point was how he offended, Daksha offended the Vaishnavas. Here he is serving the Vaishnavas. So the solution to offense is serve. So he finished all his duties with the priest by serving all the demigods. Then Lord likes his devotees to be served as he is to be served. There's this very beautiful story I read somewhere. I don't know exactly the name, place, but once Ramanujacharya actually sent his disciples to some place. They were going for some preaching. Sadly I don't remember the name, but then he went to one of his disciples. They were to stay in that house for preaching program. So he sent to one of his disciples his two disciples. To one of his disciples, he sent his two disciples. And what was being when the two disciples went to this disciple, he was like really excited, and he was very much into meditation of how he's going to serve Ramanujacharya. But at the same time, he neglected the two disciples. He just did not attend to them. He ignored them. And they felt really strange. And then they came back and he said, how is the disciple? Then he asked, and as he asked, the disciples mentioned that he was very deeply involved in how to serve you. And then Ramanujacharya asked this question, did they attend to you nicely? Did he attend to you both nicely? Then the disciples were a little hesitant, but they told the truth, and they did say that no, actually, he just neglected us. Ramanujacharya immediately then and there decided that they will not go to this disciple's place. Then he sends these two disciples to one more disciple. And then as he sends, the other disciple welcomes them, asks about Ramanujacharya, asks them how he can serve, and tells his wish that he would like to serve Ramanujacharya and his disciples really nicely. And immediately whatever he had in his house, he offered to them, and he took really good care of them. And then these two disciples went and reported Ramanujacharya. He was very pleased. Ramanujacharya was very pleased. So the same holds true for the Lord as well. If we disrespect the devotees, but respect the Lord, this is not going to work. Like in Kanishta platform, what generally happens, we only worship the deities and we start disrespecting everybody around us. Only deity is worth respecting, rest everyone can be neglected. But with spiritual advancement, little elevation in the position, we come to Madhyam Adhikari position, and we respect the deities as well as we respect the devotees, and we serve the devotees. And in that case, Lord is more pleased. Lord will not be pleased only by our deity service. Lord will be pleased when we take care of the devotees as well, when we serve the devotees. So Krishna will not be happy if we don't serve him, his devotees. Then after finishing all his duties with the priests, he took a bath and was fully satisfied. Now, how was he fully satisfied? He was fully satisfied because Krishna actually took his share. Krishna took the service, and Krishna was satisfied. All the demigods are satisfied. Therefore, now he is satisfied, which is what, like Hari Toshanam. Until and unless we satisfy and please the Lord, we can't ourselves be satisfied. Otherwise, it is a non-devotional attitude to feel that, oh, I am satisfied by eating such and such thing. No, that's not the case. So here we understand a couple of points before I move on just to my realization on this. I would like to wrap this this translation, and would like to see that how Daksha did not respect, so therefore he committed an offense against Lord Shiva. Because of his committing offense against Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu wasn't satisfied, and therefore there were obstacles in the yagna. The ultimate yagna is for the yagna of the Supreme Soul. How yagna can be performed? By giving Vishnu everything and then passing on the Vishnu Prasad to all the demigods. And then Vaishnav offenses, of committing offenses against Vaishnavas, solution, serve the Vaishnavas. By serving the Vaishnavas, we can nullify the offenses that we have committed. Then how can we be satisfied? We can be satisfied by satisfying the ultimate Lord, but not just him, not just respecting him and disrespecting others. So Radhanath Maharaj, actually, I was reading on Facebook the other day, a very beautiful quote. Our relationship with others reflect the relationship we have with Krishna. So this is such a beautiful understanding of how can we understand this, that until unless we behave nicely with all living entities, we can't develop love for Krishna. We can't satisfy him. And then understanding from all these points, we can see that the devotee needs to be really vigilant. Yagna for a devotee, every day is a yagna. All his actions are yagna. So a devotee must be very vigilant. We should introspect what he's chanting. He should introspect what he's how he's advancing in Krishna consciousness. And like when we chant for like 2 hours, 3 hours, that shouldn't be our only devotional practice. Our devotional practice is for the whole day. All depends on how do we act. As I mentioned, yagna, we need to perform yagna the whole day, 24 hours, which means how can we be so vigilant? How can we introspect our actions? So all our actions are like yagna for us. Why? Because these actions help us please the Lord. Srila Prabhupada also mentions mentions that for advancement in Krishna consciousness, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So this is our yagna. So if we take this as a modern context, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, when he spoke about this verse, he mentioned that in the present day scenario, how we are going to take this verse in our life, we can say that by practicing Sankirtana Yagna, and spreading the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spreading the glories of the chanting of the holy names, this yagna can be performed every minute. So yes, we can definitely apply this to our day-to-day lives. Now, if we go back to attitude, our attitude, how should be our attitude? We do often, by our unawareness, we do commit mistakes, but that's okay till we realize them and we go to Krishna and then we ask for forgiveness from the Vaishnavas, from the Lord. So this is where attitude comes in place. So our endeavor is to change the attitude with sincerity. because this is what Krishna actually sees in us, sincerity. We grow in Krishna consciousness only because of our sincerity. So if we actually see, Daksha changed his attitude towards everything, and therefore he came to this realization. And as he came to this realization, it was very apt for him to give respect to everybody. Because if we actually see Daksha's performance of the sacrifices from the very beginning, because of his envy, because of his disrespecting attitude, we all happen to, we read all that happened as, and the sacrifice wasn't able to take place fully. So with this, we understand that Daksha's attitude was changed. With his changed attitude, how things was like, things were so nicely arranged by the Lord. So that's sincerity that's important here. Daksha changed his attitude and was fully satisfied. Therefore, he is here fully satisfied. So we can also gauge this by proper attitude. How much we feel satisfied. The test to our devotional service is, am I satisfied? If I'm satisfied, if Krishna is satisfied, this means I'm satisfied. So this is a way to gauge our progress. Do I feel satisfied in life? Do I feel that, yes, I need to progress more in devotional service and not have a lot of material hankerings? So this is one indication for us that do we feel satisfied? We can ask and gauge our situation. The more humble we are, the more satisfied we'll be. But without the direction of spiritual master, it is not possible. So without the direction of spiritual master, it is not possible. So therefore, we have to serve the spiritual master to be able to serve the Lord. And this is such a beautiful verse. I thank you, Nandavraj Prabhu, again. You engage me in this, and I really am indebted for this. This is for like meditating on these and then thinking, and brings us so much realization. And thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Please pray for me that I also change my attitude in my practice of devotional service. Please pray. I really humbly beg in front of all the Vaishnavas that how it is so important to develop love, how it is so important just not to worship for some motive. And one day we all can pray and sincerely endeavor to serve the Lord, so that we also feel fully satisfied. So I will wrap up here. I have nothing more to say, but yeah, I think I'm done with this. So if there's any comments, anything you would like to share, please feel free, and it would be a delight to hear. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Radha Padma Mataji, for a wonderful class. Just like to have one comment. It was such a transformation for Daksha from his very envious nature, then being beheaded and then having another goat's head put on his head. And then it was in this verse we see him actually worshipping Lord Shiva. Such a transformation. And as you mentioned, unless we had the right attitude, we cannot progress in spiritual life. But it seemed that this was sort of arranged by the Lord,
yes,
to show that if we offend a devotee, especially a very advanced devotee like Lord Shiva, the repercussions are pretty bad unless we change our attitude and we apologize and serve the devotee. The transformation will not take place. And what I see in this verse is that the transformation was so complete that he felt fully satisfied in the end. So it did not start well, but it ended quite well for Daksha.
Yeah.
Such a nice lesson. Thank you, Mataji, for this wonderful class.
Sometimes Krishna actually gives us, as you mentioned, Prabhu, arranged by the Lord. So it's the same, like, when we don't listen to the Lord and when we don't follow the devotees, if we don't listen to the instructions of Lord and the devotees, it's like a similar situation of a parent, teaching the children. So the present day scenario with so many disturbances around us, this is actually teaching us. This is teaching us that how important it is to be engaged in devotional service. How important, like the child, when he is in that intoxicated stage of just doing what he wants to do. We all have gone through that stage where we just did not listen to our parents, and our parents ended up nicely. This one is where the problems come to us, and then it makes us realize for Daksha, until and unless he was till the day he was carrying pride, he wasn't able to understand the position of Lord Shiva. But the moment this pride was gone, it was forcefully removed, then Daksha could really realize. So Krishna, this present situation, is teaching us, definitely teaching us, like parents teach their child. So beautiful, very nice.
Thank you. Any other comments? We got nice devotees on the forum. I'd like to comment.
Yeah, I would like to add one comment. It's very nice class, Mataji. Just would like to one comment that means whole day we have to do like yagna, not for 2 hours, not for chanting, for 2 hours only when we are chanting or when we are worshiping. This is very nice. And that Radhanath Maharaj's quote also, I like that. Yeah, I also read, but it's not not click me. But when you told, yes, your behavior and your attitude will tell how you please to Krishna, how you love to Krishna. This is a real example. Yeah, it's true. It's very true, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sriniketan, I'm just entering my office at the moment, but I was listening to the class while I was driving. Thank you so much for your wonderful realizations and points you've mentioned. Very systematic presentation. Thank you very much, Mataji. There's one point that your Krishna consciousness and advancement in Krishna consciousness is dependent on the attitude of the follower. Are you able to elaborate more, or anyone can elaborate more about what does that mean, that particular word attitude of the follower, please? If that can be elaborated a little bit more, it would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the blessings. Thank you so much. I would like, because Nandavraj Prabhu is very senior, and I would really want him to explain this so that we also can be enlightened by this. Prabhuji.
Mataji, pass the ball in my court. I was hoping to hear something from you. As you mentioned, the ingredient for attitude transformation is the key ingredients are humility and sincerity. These are the key ingredients. And unless somebody chants and serves the devotees very sincerely and a lot of humility, this attitude cannot be sort of obtained or cannot be get. So yes, we need the mercy of the Vaishnavas, Guru, Parampara, and our Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada to have this transformation in our attitude. Attitude means how we want to serve rather than how somebody would like us to serve. So the attitude is to serve others, because Prabhupada said by serving the Vaishnavas, you make very rapid advancement. So all this inspiration must come from Parampara, Srila Prabhupada and the devotees. So yes, the transformation attitude is very important and is based on humility and sincerity. Thank you, Mataji. That's my short
Thank you,
comment.
Prabhuji. Thank you. Prabhuji, can I add one more point? Like, if we see in our daily lives, our attitude defines our relationships. If our attitude is really, full of pride and not humble, for sure, if we don't have the serving attitude, we end up, having clashes and skirmishes around us all the time. So even in the general day-to-day life, we do see that how attitude is important in advancement of anything. So, but here when we talk about Krishna consciousness, which is the most important thing, most important aspect of our life, when we can't neglect the material aspects of our life, how it would be that we will neglect the spiritual aspect of our life, because this is after a long struggle, we have somehow got lucky to have come to the shelter of Srila Prabhupada and our gurus. So this is something which is like priceless or so valuable that we can't really miss out on this. So in that case, if our attitude is really careless and we have been carrying subtle form of envy, subtle form of greed, subtle, even if we may not realize today, but in our actions, these sometimes just reflect. But Krishna doesn't see our envy. Krishna sees how sincere we are to remove that envy. How sincere we are working to serve him. How sincerely I'm working to serve the Vaishnavas. How sincerely my attempts are. Is it just to so our intentions actually also define, like Prabhuji did mention, sincerity and humility. Did this satisfy you, Prabhuji?
Yes, very much, Mataji. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Srikirtan Prabhu, you might elaborate. What is your take on this?
Thank you so much. I've got to leave. Thank you, Haribo.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thanks very much, everyone, for Prabhu, Danvar Pranam.
Prabhu, please accept my
Ambulance.
responses to our
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So nice,
Krishna.
so nice for everyone to join this morning and early morning. And so we'll meet tomorrow morning. In the meantime, I'd like to thank Radha Padma Mataji for a wonderful class and her association.
God
I'd
bless you.
like to see her more fun. Also, next time, Prabhuji will be giving the class. He's escaping. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Radha Padma Mataji. Lord Bhakti, Panchakapadharuvescha, Kipasindhavescha, Vidam Pavnibhyo, Vishnavibhyo,
Vaishnava Namo Namo Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda
Namo.
Ki Jai.
Lord